If Drake May has fallen to 8th overall and the Falcons had selected him despite the dire needs on defense and having just signed Kirk Cousins, who has been more volatile than people are recently recollecting? That's about Kirk Cousins. Would you have still considered an egregious decision? If not, considering our collective poor track records of prognosing, of predicting which first round quarterbacks will have success. Thank you. I'm not an English major, man. I was a math guy. Are we not admitting the problem was not selecting a quarterback, but the lower evaluations on Penix? Is that not a faulty reasoning? How hypocritical even? Okay, what he's basically saying is if it was Drake May, would your tune be different? I'm letting you handle this one.
Of course it would be, because he's a better player.
That's it.
Right? That's all it is.
Matter. Situation does matter, but the players you draft do matter as well.
Yeah, and it's the NFL. Anything can happen. A future world where Penix is better than Drake May. It's not impossible. I mean, who knows? They've been NFL players for a week. You can't say anything's not going to happen, but I know if I had to roll the dice, I know which one I'm taking every single time. Right. So that's the truth. Yeah. And to be honest, I would have felt the same way if it was JJ McCarthy. I've been like, okay, I can stomach this, but the 24-year-old quarterback with bad knees that doesn't like to throw over the middle is, I don't know. And I still think there's space for Penix to be a starter because he's going to hunt big plays and you're going to hit on some of those. But overall, I don't know. I don't think that the profile, it's not something that you really ever see hit in the NFL, which is why a lot of people were pushing back against it.
Yeah, age and there's going to be another question. I'll talk more about this, but yeah, injuries. So yeah, some of the play style things. May, that's why I just really like May. You also got to look at the age, and I know not every player's the same. Every player's different. Some guys are going to hit later and ascend later in their career, some earlier. But you also just have to, like you said, it's bets. I know for a fact, and I could do studies on this, that the younger guy is going to have more room for growth. Guys with a better arm, better athleticism are going to have more room for growth. That is not just theory. It's basically proven. It's just physics of athletes and people. So that's why May makes more sense for this timeline that they talked about. Penix to me would have made sense if the Vikings ended up with Penix and they said, and they maybe still had Darnold, that would actually have made a little bit more sense because they're saying, hey, we have nothing attached with Darnold, but all right, Penix he can hit the ground running because we have a pretty ready-made roster. For more about Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy's situation, please check out my column on Yahoo this week. But
listen to basically everything we've done this week.
Oh yeah, right. I know. Even the guest shows I've been on, but. Yeah, it's all about what you're chasing and what the high-end play of these guys are, especially if you're drafting top 10. You can find guys that can perform what Penix has nice traits. I do think there's a role, he could start in this league. It's just that what else do you have? I'm watching him already. I do see him going 1 to 2 to 3, but he knows what he is and he knows his play style. So it's this is him. So again, when you're that old and have that player profile, what else are you trying to tap into? So, but Nick P had a question that kind of matched up with the Falcons question and also kind of a traits thing. But I'm a Falcon. Nick P said, I'm a Falcons fan who's trying to figure out how to feel about Penix. I think same with my friend over here.
Yeah.
After the shock value of drafting him.
Shock value is a great way to put it.
I'm trying to stay neutral in the situation. Yeah. Until it's time for him to play. What does concern me is that I know you and others have said one of his negatives is that he doesn't and or struggles to throw over the middle. How common is it for QBs to improve on that once they're in the league? What are the developmental steps to doing so? Thanks. I'm still trying to figure this out, whether I want to do a more of a long-term study on this. It's something why I prioritize guys throwing over the middle is it kind of the traits that usually that shows means good things that translate. So shows anticipation, shows understanding of the play, shows understanding of the defense because you have to anticipate where lanes are going to open up and you have to have willingness to push the ball, actual balls. So I think that stat and that trait is something I will have to, whenever I wrote about Penix, I wrote about, or I talked about Penix, I wrote about JJ McCarthy, Jane Daniels, and brought up throwing over the middle stuff, and Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. It's because I watch them and go, well, they're not attacking over the middle. And then I look up the stats and go, well, they're not throwing over the middle. And you can get by if you have other aspects of your game, if you're a good scrambler, if you can create a little bit, if you're a hyper efficient underneath guy. But that's where the juiciest areas of the defense are. It shows other traits that translate to other things. And unless you're really a Shanahan guy, like that's kind of a prerequisite in that offense anyways. Like, I don't know how workable it is or how much you can improve at that. Maybe go below average to average, but I don't think you can go like below average to great. I think it's just one of those traits that's like, you have to have some feel for it. But that's, I think quarterbacks only drop off from college to the pros. Like Jalen Hurts was very good throwing over the middle in college when I was studying this, but that was the offense. It wasn't a ton of them. It was a lot of, play action. Lincoln Riley, one guy would sit over the middle. So yes, they would count over the middle, but it wasn't the seams, the digs, the big boy throws. Not that he won't throw the ball down the field, but so yeah, long answer. It's just, I don't know how much you can improve, but it is something I do value. Haven't studied long-term, but Penix though, shorter answer on him. He will throw over the middle, but he's not good at it. It's because that's where his throwing style, the longer platform, he kind of takes that extra second to throw. That's where it shows up, is thrown over the middle. He can't really just get those guys in stride all the time, consistently at least. So anything to add, or I just took all the air out of the room?